Hi, it's Graham here, and I want to just give you an update on the state of the nation of We Share Abundance, sometimes known as Eden Revisited. And I say nation in particular because some people think that we are a business opportunity and some people think we're an investment, and we are neither of those things. We are, very simply, a community of people from all over the globe who have the desire to improve their lives, not just financially, but through service and love, and gaining real, true satisfaction and happiness that can't be bought. So where are we? Well, the nation was launched back in the end of March 2020, and its objective was to fight poverty on a global scale, to provide people in all countries, of all backgrounds, of all creeds, colour, class, whatever other superficial differences they may appear to have, to provide those people with a way that they could help themselves to escape from the poverty that is imposed on them sometimes through the greed of others. It is my belief that there is a God, and that He didn't intend for people to be struggling to survive while others had more than they needed. It is my belief that the Garden of Eden is a biblical illustration of what God intended, and that Garden of Eden is always available. It's whether or not man chooses to live within the rules of the Garden of Eden, or exit the Garden of Eden and struggle with greed and poverty, keeping up with the Joneses, lots of things that don't matter, seeing differences in people that don't exist instead of understanding that we're all one. And we are all one, and we have a power of one within We Share Abundance, the power of one God who is within us all, bringing us all together as one family. And we have a very achievable bonus that enhances the income that people can create within our community using our own economy and our own currency, which is a WESA token, W-E-S-A. Before we launched, we had another token, and it was around about 9 or 10 months before we actually launched, we had this token, and it was offered for sale to a few people, or to a lot of people, but only a few took up the option, at around about 5 cents per token. Before we launched, this token became compromised through some fraud. And so what we did is we changed the token from what we had into the WESA token, and we allowed the people that had taken up the SWAP tokens to exchange them for WESA tokens. At that time, this was in April of 2020, the value of the WESA token was about $1. Since that time, there has been a steady increase in the value of the token month by month, and it's reached a high of around about $200 at this moment in time, which is November 21st, 2020, and it's dropped back down to about 130, and it's usually around about $160, $170 currently. But it is constantly rising. The general trend has been upward, and it's expected that the token will be around about $250, maybe $300 by the end of next month, and it's expected and forecast that the token will probably hit four figures in the early part within the first 6 months of 2021. At this point, I want to just give you a little bit of a history on Bitcoin, because most people have heard of Bitcoin, but most people haven't heard of the Visa token. And the Visa token's increase in value from 5 cents to let's say $150 in around about a year is quite astronomical, and better than most people have seen with any other cryptocurrency that has ever been released. It was early 2009 when Bitcoin was released, and at that time it was worth nothing really. You could buy about 12.5, 13 Bitcoin for 1 cent. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. You could buy 12.5 to 13 Bitcoin for just 1 cent. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody had any faith in it. Nobody trusted it. Nobody thought it was anything other than a gimmick. Then, at the end of May 2010, somebody that had been accumulating Bitcoin decided he'd see if he could make a purchase with his Bitcoin. And he advertised that he would give somebody 10,000 Bitcoin in exchange for 2 pizzas delivered to him. He said, I don't care how you do it, whether you can make them yourself and bring them along, or whether you get some commercial enterprise to send them to me. I'll pay you 10,000 Bitcoin. At that point in time, Bitcoin had risen a little bit, and it was probably worth about $40. But it was a notional $40 because nobody had ever bought anything with Bitcoin. 10,000 Bitcoin on paper was worth $40, but you couldn't sell it because nobody wanted to buy it for $40. The people that owned Bitcoin had been mining them and accumulating them absolutely free. So this was a move out of the virtual currency into what could be considered a real currency. And somebody took up the offer and bought him 2 pizzas, and I believe it was from Papa John's, and they were delivered and they cost about $25. So in return he got about $40 worth of Bitcoin, and people started to think maybe there's something in this currency. You can actually exchange it for something tangible. And the Bitcoin price shot up from 0.0008 cents, which was the 12.5 to 13 Bitcoin for 1 cent value. It had actually grown, and it was probably getting to more than that, around about 3 or 4 cents at the time of the purchase. But it started to grow rapidly. It increased overnight to 8 cents for each Bitcoin, and it continuously had ups and downs, but it was continuously rising, and by 2013 At the beginning of the year it was worth about $13.50, but people were trading it more. They were more interested in it. It was starting to be adopted. And within a few months it got up to $220. Boom! Everybody was amazed and was jumping in on Bitcoin because it had gone from $13 to $220, and it fell back down to about $70. But $70 was still a big increase on the $13.50 that it started the year at, and we were only at the end of April. Since then there's been lots of ups and downs. One of the biggest ups and downs was in 2018, December. Bitcoin reached what is still an all-time high of just around $20,000 per Bitcoin. But it dropped down rapidly, and it dropped down by 2019 March, sometime like that, to around $3,000. So people that had bought at $20,000 thinking that it was going to keep going on and growing, boom, all of a sudden it was down at $3,000, and they were ditching it and saying, you know, this Bitcoin's no good. But it never got much lower than $3,000, and it started to climb again. And at this present moment in time, gradually Bitcoin has reached around $18,500 at the time I'm recording this. The first big increase was caused by speculation from the masses. I believe this second increase is being driven by the fact that it's being accepted by banks, prosperous individuals, and even nations as a good hedge against inflation, better than gold or silver. And that is why we're seeing this increase, and that is being typified by the fact that one of the biggest internet exchanges, transfers of money, PayPal, have decided to allow their members to buy and sell Bitcoin through their platform. That hasn't been integrated internationally yet. I believe it's in the States, but it's on a big rollout and will be available pretty much anywhere that PayPal operates in the very, very near future. So that's a little bit of history about cryptocurrencies. What's that got to do with Visa? Well, Visa is a cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is backed by nothing other than belief and speculation. Visa token is backed by the economy of our nation. The fact that people are prepared to do service and offer service and help and love to other people. Currently, our nation doesn't sell anything to people outside of our nation. It's like saying that nobody outside the UK can buy anything that's produced in the UK. We're in that situation now. We will be expanding. We will be saying to people, look, we have these services, we have these products, you can come and buy them. Okay, all you need to do is pay us in Visa tokens. The Visa token, as I say, has increased in price drastically and is forecast to increase more. But price isn't the only determining factor in the quality and value of a currency. Its liquidity is important. It's like owning a house in a property market that is really bottomed out. You have $1 million home, but you can't sell it, even though you want to get out and you want to move it, because nobody's buying property, and if they are, they're only buying at the right bottom end of the marketplace, properties that are a few thousand rather than millions. You have the asset, but it's got no liquidity. But as the market changes and liquidity increases, you can then see that the optimism in property is changing. People are scaling up, they're buying more expensive property, and eventually $1 million property sells quickly. And that's the same with the Visa token. We're in a situation where we have this value, but we don't have the liquidity. we're in a marketplace that doesn't really know about Weezer tokens. Once Weezer token becomes widespread and widely known, people are going to want to buy it as a good hedge against investment because its value continuously rises. It's part of the programming of how the token works. It's not an arbitrary, oh, let's say it's worth this much. It's actually based on the endeavours and the work and the ethics of the nation of We Share Abundance. It's calculated, and it's built-in formula that is run every month that calculates this value and puts it up there. And then we also have a free market trading where the tokens you can buy and sell for whatever you want, but that tends to correspond pretty close to the value that we associate with Weezer within our community. The value that we place on it within our community, we guarantee. So if you're within our community and want to use any of our services, want to buy anything within our community, we guarantee that you will get at least the value that we set on the token within our community. We can't control what goes on outside our community, but it tends to reflect what's going on within our community. That's a little bit about the token. What we are not as well is a get-rich-quick scheme. We're not a business opportunity, we're not an investment. It is true that people make money here. It is true that if people are staking tokens, they can increase the value of the rewards they get for the tasks they perform within our community. So we're not passive either, because if you don't complete the tasks, you don't get any of the rewards. However, the tasks can be completed in about 5 minutes a day or less in most cases. As we grow, there will be more opportunities, more tasks that people can complete, and the ability to earn more money within our community. However, as we've been growing and in our early stages, and this is common with anything that bears any similarity to our program, to our nation, we had great spikes of income that were being generated, and people made thousands of dollars in a very short period of time with little or no effort. As we've grown and we've accepted more people into our nation, our gross national product has increased, the value of the token has increased, but the ability, the supply and demand for the token outside of the community is proportionately less than it was when we first started. And so the amount of tokens that can be effectively traded, cashed in for your local currency has been reduced. And instead of people now being able to cash in $2,000–3,000 worth a month quite easily, we're seeing that people can perhaps only cash in $10 or $20, maybe as much as $50, maybe as little as $15. It varies. But this is still free money. And $10 or $15 can make a big difference to people that are struggling in poverty, particularly in what are classed as third world countries. A lot of African nations, a lot of South American nations, a lot of Asian nations. $10, $15 can make a massive difference to a family. $50 can pay the food bill for a month. And this is what we set out to do. We set out to fight poverty on a global scale, catering first for the needs of people at these basic, very bottom levels. And this is what we're still able to do. And as we grow and as the liquidity grows, we will again start to see greater amounts being available to people. It'll go from $10, $15, $20 to $30, $40, $50, $100, $200, $300, $500, thousands of dollars, naturally. As we grow, as people see the value. The things that influence liquidity are the demand for the services that we offer, the products that we offer, and so people's desire to obtain the tokens, to obtain those services. And this will come from people outside the community. And this can be done by selling products and services to people outside our nation. We'll be able to promote the token as an investment because it's probably the only cryptocurrency that consistently increases in value because of the programming behind it. A cryptocurrency is basically just a piece of software, and it is unique to the Visa token that this software means that the guaranteed minimum value of the token within our community can never fall. So people buying from our community know they're always going to get that value, whatever it is, no matter what they pay outside the community. It's always going to be in there because that guaranteed minimum value is also backed by market value. So, for example, if somebody sees our guaranteed minimum value at $170 and they pay $200 for a token and they want $200 worth of services, because that's the market value, they're going to get the $200, not the $170. But if they are lucky enough to buy at $150, they're still going to get that guaranteed minimum value of $170. It makes it a very attractive proposition. And it means that the token value keeps increasing. And so it becomes a solid, good investment, a good alternative, a hedge against inflation. And although we're not an investment, people can take the token and buy it as an investment as they would perhaps hold gold or silver in the past. The liquidity can also be enhanced through donations, because we are a non-profit charitable organisation, and people may want to say, well, okay, I don't mind donating $10, $50, $100, $1,000 if it's going to help people. And it'll help our members because it'll mean that they will be able to cash in more of their earnings for their local currency. Some people may say, okay, yeah, I would like to donate to this cause, and may want to put in a subscription. And in return, we're going to give them some Visa tokens as a thank you. And so not only are they feeling good because they're donating to help fight poverty, but they're going to accumulate a nest egg in tokens, which is always increasing in value. Another thing that we'll be able to offer in the future is the ability for people to sell on their own websites, their own services, with a button so people can pay with Visa tokens. And they'll be able to perhaps buy at a discounted price for Visa tokens because the person selling is a member of the community, a member of our nation, and he's happy to accumulate Visa tokens for his services. He can put that button on his website, a little bit like you've seen perhaps PayPal buttons, pay with PayPal, click here, and the money will go straight into their Visa account within the community, and they'll have that there building a beautiful nest egg with an ever increasing token value. So the liquidity is controlled by the demand, and the demand is controlled by the value of our economy and some of the things I've mentioned outside. But as we expand, and we are expanding at a rate which will provide us with over 5 million members by April 2022, we'll have 5 million actual users within our community of that token, and we'll have in place by that time lots of things that these people can offer outside our community, increasing the usage, increasing the value, increasing the liquidity, and eventually increasing the ranking of the token. The token, even now, with its limited liquidity, is already ranked roundabout, it's certainly in the top 600 tokens. I think last time I looked it was about 524. That's out of billions of different cryptocurrencies out there on the market. We've only been going with this currency for about 6 or 7 months, and we're already ranked just over 500. We'll soon be below 500, and we'll be getting down and down and down in the numbers, higher and higher and higher in the ranking as we go on. So I've given you a bit of history about cryptocurrency, and I've told you where we are. What we do now to try and match that demand, that supply and demand, so that it's fair for all the members, is we pay any withdrawal requests for our members in Bitcoin. So if a member wants to make a withdrawal request, we pay in Bitcoin, but we only can pay in the amount of Bitcoin that comes in through sales of the token. Makes sense. It's the same as if we gave you the tokens to sell on the exchange and you wanted to exchange them for Bitcoin. It's exactly the same, except we do that for you. If we allowed the tokens to just go out on the market and say, okay, draw everything you want, then what would happen inevitably would be what I'm going to show you on a spreadsheet for another opportunity, for another token that I'm personally involved in. And I'm not knocking this token because it's been very good to me. It's been around for a few years, over 2 years I think now. And when it started out, you could generate these tokens absolutely free in the same way that you can do within We Share Abundance now, and we don't intend to change that. And I was fortunate that I generated a lot of tokens. I've had thousands of dollars for absolutely no cost out of this opportunity, and I am very pleased and proud to be a member of this opportunity and benefiting from this other token. However, what's happened as they've grown is the token has gone from, it started out at 50 cents, it went up to about $4, and since then it plummeted down to about 2 cents, and it's now fluctuating between about 4.5 and 7 cents. So what does it mean? I'll show you in a spreadsheet in just a second. This is this, let's say parallel, it's not really, but it's similar type of situation that we have in We Share Abundance, where you can earn rewards on a daily basis for completing simple tasks. It doesn't matter what the opportunity is, it doesn't matter what the name is, it doesn't matter what the token is. This token started out at 50 cents, shot up to about $4, dropped down to around 2 cents, and you can see the value of the token currently is here. So it's 565555555 4 cents and so on. It's hovering around about there. I personally have about 31,000 tokens currently, and that's worth about 1739. They were worth 1782 up here on the 4th of November. So in fact, even though I've been doing some of these tasks and getting the rewards, I've actually lost money in those 16 days. The actual reward per task is round about 8 cents for me currently. 6 cents, 5 cents. It's been up as high as 12 cents. It varies with the value of the token. The big difference here is I can hang on to these tokens. I've got 30 odd thousand, or I can cash in. It'll take me a while to sell 30 odd thousand tokens. I would probably have to accept below the 5 cents or something that they're at. I might even have to go down as low as 3 cents. And having done that, I'd have nothing left. I'd have no nest egg. Our tokens in We Share Abundance are holding the value, but it's got a similar liquidity situation. In fact, I think our token is ranked much higher than this particular token if you look at coin ranking or something like that. So our token is probably in a better liquidity position in theory than this token, but in practice it's probably very, very similar. You've got a difficult liquidity situation, but the value here is constantly hovering around a small amount. I'm hoping, and I know that the founder is hoping, that it will gradually grow, because like ourselves, he's not set out to create a get-rich-quick platform. He's building something to last for generations, as we are. We're not in this for 3 months, 6 months, quick hit, let's go, we're off with our money, find some other mugs. That's not our game, that's not his game. We're here to produce an economy for generations and generations. But this particular plan, I believe, whilst it's a good plan, is improved upon by ours, where we have a constantly increasing value in the tokens, even though we still have a liquidity problem similar to this one. You can judge for yourself, but these are the figures from my tasks and things, and you can see that the value is up and down, and now it's difficult to generate any real income on a daily basis in here. In We Share Abundance, the income is generated, the dollar values are there, but it's difficult to cash them in. And so it's a similar situation in the end. But I believe our model is more beneficial, because the dollar value is always there and it's always increasing, and as the liquidity increases, as hopefully it will do with this one, with this token, it will do with ours as we implement more things, then that value will always be there, like that house that couldn't sell until the property boom came about. That's where we are with our token. That house value, that token value of ours is there, and it's increasing in value every day. And people that have got our tokens and holding on to them will be very wealthy in the not too distant future, not just on paper, but as the liquidity increases in actual real terms. So I wanted to just show you this and show you that the income here is very low. Okay, it's for nominal tasks, but it takes probably longer than it takes in We Share Abundance, but you'll make a bit more in We Share Abundance than $1 a day for the amount of time I spent here. Okay? Let's go back and talk a little bit more about the Visa token. Okay, so you've seen the spreadsheet and what's happened in that other economy. We have the same effect in that now it's not easy to cash in a large amount in value. But is it better for us to say, okay, you've got 20,000 tokens, cash them in and you'll get $1,000 and you've got nothing left. Boom, it's gone. No nest egg. Or is it better for us to have a situation where we say, okay, you've got 20,000 tokens, but you can only cash them in bit by bit. But those tokens are always increasing in value and building you a wonderful nest egg that's going to be worth millions of dollars in the future. And as liquidity increases, you'll be able to draw more and more and more out, growing your income as well as your nest egg. We've chosen as a community to go with the second option, so that you always have that asset value there. That's behind you. It's there. It's like that house that perhaps isn't selling on the market at the moment. But once that property boom starts, once the boom in the Visa token starts, you'll be able to sell it like that. Okay? It's the same situation. However, I've got a proposal that I want to put to the members. And once again, I've got another spreadsheet to explain that. So here it is. Okay, here's an idea that I think might be fun, and if you agree to it, then we can implement it, and if you don't, we can stick with what we've got. But in this time where people are not being able to withdraw large amounts, don't know how long that'll go on for. I'm pretty sure it'll gradually get better and better each month. But I thought it might be interesting if we allowed some people to draw some very large amounts. We still only have a limited resource in the amount of money that's coming in, and so it would mean shaving a little bit off what we pay out to the membership base as a whole and putting it into a pot that we could then distribute randomly. Once again, be a random decision where we just picked members randomly from the community and popped them into these positions 1 through 15. Okay, so this could be member number 50,000 and member number 3 and member number 274 and member number 48,700 and member number 70,600 and so on. It would be a totally random allocation of the member that would have a position on these days, and there would be the first 15 days of the month. and they would be able to draw out some cash. Now, where would this cash come from? As I say, it would be from shaving some off what's available for distribution to the members as a whole. We probably are around about $500,000 that we pay out a month at this moment in time. Okay, this is distribution to the whole of our members. It's probably somewhere in the region of 500,000. It may be a little bit lower. I doubt whether it's any bigger at the moment, but it will soon be over 500,000. I think we paid out something like 350,000 last month. I'm not sure what we're paying out this month at the moment, but it's a figure that is based on where we're going to be in the very near future anyway, and probably by the time we could program this in and implement it. So let's say we had $500,000 worth of income to distribute to people that were withdrawing funds. We could take 20% of that, which would leave 400,000 for distribution generally, and 20,000 to go into this randomly selected payment system. We could change that 20%, we could make it more, we could make it less. I don't think we would ever want to make it more. You might decide that it would be better to be a little bit less, 10% maybe. If we change that to 10%, you will see that the figures will change here. Okay? But I think 20% is probably a good potential point that we could start with. You can see here that the amounts are decreasing each day of the available balance. We start off with 20% of 500,000, which is about $100,000, and we will allow somebody to draw from that $100,000 up to 20%. That could be changed again, it could be more, it could be less, but I think 20% is a good figure, and that is the maximum that they could draw from that. So whoever was in position 1 on day 1 could draw up to $20,000 if he had Visa tokens of $20,000 value. I think this would only be open to people who are level 2 verified. It would be no good offering them this if they couldn't withdraw that sort of money anyway. And I think we should only offer it as well to people that are Power of One qualified, but I'm open to suggestions on that point. But I think the Power of One people are the people that are building our economy. They deserve the chance to have the greater withdrawals. So those two things, definitely it would have to be level 2 verified people that were put into the shuffle for these positions, and probably Power of One qualified as well, put into the shuffle for these positions. That would encourage people as well to get into the Power of One and to get properly verified. So whoever was selected in position 1 could draw up to $20,000 if they had sufficient tokens to withdraw. They may have sufficient tokens, they may have more than $20,000 worth of tokens, they may only want to withdraw $5,000 worth of them. That would be up to them, but we would then pay them this in Bitcoin up to this maximum. If they drew less, it would increase the available amount here. If they drew only 10,000, this would go to 90,000 because only 10,000 had been withdrawn. But we would still operate on a 20% of that figure. So the person drawn in position 2 would be able to cash in up to $16,000. The person in position 3 up to $12,800. And if any of these maximums weren't met, this wouldn't automatically increase the amount available to the next person in line. Why wouldn't they be met? They may not want to draw them at this time because they want to hang on to them because they know they're going to increase in value, or they may not have that amount of tokens. They may not have, for example, in this example, they may not have $12,000 worth of tokens. They might only have $500 worth, so they could only draw $500. That being the case, this would be 63,500 here. Okay, and this would change as we go down, but this is if everybody was to draw the maximum of 20%, and then the person that was 15th on the list could withdraw the balance up to the balance that is there. So being drawn in the last position could be more beneficial than being drawn in several positions above, you know. And I think this may be exciting and it may be beneficial to some members. We'd have 15 members that were drawing large amounts or potentially large amounts each month while we're waiting for the liquidity to improve. It's an idea. I throw it open to the group. I think it might be a fun thing. I'm happy to let you decide on it. Let's go back to the video. Okay, that's a proposal. It's a bit of fun. I think it's a good idea, but I'm going to put this in the group with a poll beneath it, and you can vote on it. You can say, yeah, we think it's a good idea, and at what sort of levels, and we'll see what the membership thinks. Not all the membership is in the Facebook group. We have about 10,000 members in the Facebook group. We have about 50,000 or 60,000 registered members at this moment in time. So it's only 20% of the members in the Facebook group. Maybe some of the people in the Facebook group have not even registered as members as well. So there's an imbalance there, but it'll give us a good indication of what the members feel and whether or not we should have a look at implementing this idea. Okay? It's there for you. I've given you an update on the state of the nation. I have had, I must confess, some complaints from members saying, I've not been paid this month. I thought this was a great opportunity, but now I've not got anything coming in this month, and if I do, it'll only be a few dollars. These people, let me tell you, have usually put in nothing. Some of them may be founder members, and they may have founder memberships as well. One person in particular has a $250 founder membership that he's paid for, and he staked initially for $100 to increase his rewards. So a total out-of-pocket outlay of $350. That person has had well over $2,000 in benefits that he's drawn out. He's well in profit. He can still draw, but it's smaller amounts, and he's still got massive assets behind him that are growing on a daily basis. Is there grounds for complaint there? I don't think so. But it's up to you. God bless. That's the state of the nation as at 21st of November 2020. God bless We Share Abundance. God bless Eden Revisited. God bless all its inhabitants and citizens.